Welcome to another episode of Mama Mystery. I'm Kelly, and I'm your host. And I'm Austin. I am the co-host. Okay, you totally jacked my vibe.
Austin.
People are going to think we're so annoying.
They're going to think you're so annoying.
Go ahead.
First of all, I haven't said welcome in a long time.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. We appreciate it. Don't know who that was that interrupted the show.
Do you guys like our new music?
Because we do. What was that? Open-ended question? Really Guys, this is a really different episode. It's just a short update. So if you like updates, you'll like this episode.
Yeah, thank you, Austin. Listen, first, before we get started, I want to thank all of our new Patreons. We have a bunch. Oh, my gosh.
Bunch.
So exciting. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys are excited for your new June stickers because they're really freaking cute. They have like a summer theme. There's a flamingo, a watermelon, and a pineapple, and they're real cute. So let's go ahead and thank some of these new Patreons. Chelsea Duke,
Woo-woo.
Allison Thurman,
Woo.
Danielle Ferguson, Woo. Chelsea Easterla,
Woo-woo.
Katie Baskew,
Woo-woo.
Melissa Snap,
Woo-woo.
Angie Freecha,
Woo-woo.
and Laura Herner.
Woo-woo. That was annoying how much I had to say the woo-woo, but we appreciate you.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, so today's episode is going to be a little shorter, as it is kind of like a recap and update on a case that I covered a really long time ago. So last year, when I started Mama Mystery, it was at the beginning of the pandemic. I was bored, so I was making these YouTube videos to cover these cases, but it became so time-consuming that I realized podcasting would be so much easier. So
I told you.
So I extracted just the audio from the 6 or 7 videos I made and just turned them into the beginning episodes of the podcast.
And I think the most disappointing thing about it is you'll notice I'm not on the episodes.
Anyway, so episode 7 is on Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell. And if you're interested in re-listening to it, you can, or you can also just watch the video on YouTube to brush up on like the timeline, the pictures, the details, because it is kind of confusing. If you don't know about this case, here is a super quick summary. So, Austin, you don't know about this case.
Nope.
Okay, so Lori Vallow, she was raised in a strict Mormon household. She was married at 19 in 1992. She got divorced, got married again at 22, and then she got divorced 3 years later after having her oldest son, Colby, okay? And he's an adult now. In 2001, a few years later, she married Joseph Ryan Jr., and together they had a daughter named Tylee in 2002. So Joseph eventually filed for divorce 2 years later, and Lori remarried to a man named Charles Vallow in 2006. And they adopted Charles's grandnephew, okay, JJ. So now they're taking care of, Colby, who is their oldest kid. He's going to be moving out soon, but their 2 younger kids are JJ and Tylee, and they are the center of this story, okay? So after they adopt the grandnephew JJ, the next year, Lori's brother Alex attacked her ex-husband Joseph, which is Tylee's dad, apparently because Lori told him that Joseph was abusive. And this is where really things started getting weird. Lori's brother was basically fighting all of her battles even after she was already remarried. So it was just odd behavior. And then in 2015, Lori came across a man named Chad Daybell. And Chad was promoting his faith and his books. He was kind of a leader of what many call a cult. And he had these wild ideas and premonitions that the world was going to end and that he had all these previous lifetimes. And when he met Lori Vallow, he told her that they had been married in a previous lifetime. I don't know. It was batshit crazy stuff. But Lori Vallow bought every single word he was saying. Hook, line, and sinker. So they began having an affair, but Chad was actually married at the time to a woman named Tamara, or Tammy for short. So Chad is married to Tammy, Lori is married to Charles, and they have these 2 kids they're raising together, JJ and Tylee, okay?
I sort of remember listening to this a long time ago.
Yes, this is like a really short version of a really
Go
long
back and
story.
listen to the details if you want the whole
Yeah,
thing.
if you want to get in depth. But anyway, on July 11th of 2019, Lori and Charles's marriage pretty much was over when there was an altercation at Lori's new home. Lori's brother Alex was there, and again, fighting Lori's battles, ended up getting into it with Charles. And Alex claimed that Charles hit him over the head with a bat, but his injuries didn't really corroborate that story. Regardless, Alex claimed that in self-defense, he shot Charles, killing him right there in the living room of Lori's home. Then on September 23rd of 2019, JJ was seen playing with friends on a doorbell camera that was the last footage of JJ seen alive. The next day, Lori called his school to tell them that JJ would no longer be going there, and then 2 months went by without anyone hearing from them or seeing either of Lori's kids, and their grandparents were becoming really concerned. So they were actually the ones who called to request a well check at Lori's house. Nobody was able to get a hold of kids, and Lori wasn't providing any information about their whereabouts, so it was just getting really bizarre, suspicious, just weird. Meanwhile, on October 2nd, Lori Vallow bought a wedding ring on Amazon through Charles's Amazon account. October 9th of 2019, 7 days later, Chad's wife, Tammy, reported to the police and on Facebook that she was shot at by someone appearing to be wielding a paintball gun. She thought the whole event was really strange and worrisome, and they never found out who the person was who tried to attack Tammy, although there are theories. And then 10 days later, Austin, she was found dead in her home, allegedly from natural causes. No autopsy was performed at Chad's request, red flag. I mean, there's two
Big
red
red
flags,
flag.
really. Yeah, there's a lot of red flags. But 2 months later, Tammy was exhumed and autopsied, but those results have not been made public yet, although we do know that the Fremont County Prosecutor's Office is handling the case going forward. So something was found in that autopsy, we just don't know what yet. Then in late November of 2019, Lori and Chad disappeared to Hawaii, leaving everything behind. At this point, police are still searching for JJ and Tylee. They're trying to get a hold of Lori. And now Lori's actually been ordered by a judge to produce the kids or else, and she completely ignores those orders. Chad and Lori, meanwhile, are just frolicking on a beach in Hawaii.
I remember this. They were super casual on vacation and everything.
So casual.
This is a good one. You guys got to go back and listen to this one. I remember this.
I suggest watching the YouTube version of it, honestly, because there's pictures that go along with each face, because there's just a lot of people, and so it gets complicated. But yes, Chad and Lori, they get married on the beach. They completely disregard.
Kid's been missing for 2 months.
They've been missing. They won't answer people who are asking them. They won't answer police. They're getting hounded by reporters asking where the kids are, and they're just looking at them smiling. At one point, Lori holds up her own phone and starts recording the reporters who are asking her about her own kids, and it's just like, how can you be so nonchalant about this? So anyway, in December, Lori's brother Alex, the one who fought these battles, unexpectedly dies of apparently the exact same things that Lori's previous husband, Joseph Ryan, died from. It turned out to be something like high blood pressure or some sort of cardiac arrest. Then authorities finally locate Lori and Chad in Kauai, Hawaii, and she is arrested and extradited back to Idaho. Meanwhile, police are now actively investigating the death of Tammy Daybell because they're just like, this is all getting really weird. Then in June of 2020, the remains of JJ and Tylee were found on Chad Daybell's property, and Chad was arrested that same day. So Chad was charged with 2 counts of the destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence, and 2 counts of conspiring to do so. He pleaded not guilty, and his trial was set to begin in January of this year, but it was postponed because they merged his case with Lori's. Just a few weeks ago, on May 25th of 2020, both Lori and Chad were charged with the murder of JJ and Tylee, and also conspiracy to commit murder in the death of Tammy Daybell. Additionally, Lori was indicted on the charge of grand theft related to Social Security survivor benefits that were allocated for the care of her children that were appropriated after they went missing and they were ultimately found deceased. That's a huge fraud deal. But then an Idaho judge ruled that Lori Daybell was incompetent, okay? And when I saw this, a ton of people were sending it to me because they were like, oh my gosh, can you believe this? And I think a lot of people their initial reaction was that this was gonna be like a guilty by insanity, or she was gonna claim insanity or whatever, and maybe spend the rest of her life in a hospital and not be truly charged and tried on these charges, right? Well, I ended up looking it up and to find out more information about what this actually means. So what happened was she met with a psychiatrist, and based on the results from that assessment that was conducted in March, she was deemed incompetent to stand trial. So prosecutors, of course, contested the ruling. And so now there's currently a stay in the case until a determination can be made if Lori is capable of understanding the charges against her, follow the court proceedings, and assist her lawyers in her own defense.
So incompetent, you're ultimately saying she's trying to claim insanity.
Well, no, it doesn't necessarily mean that. It means that she's uncooperative, that she's either claiming or proving that she is not mentally there enough to determine what's going on in her own trial, to understand the charges and to be able to follow the court proceedings and help her lawyers with whatever questions or anything that they may have.
Man, I don't know enough about it, but it sounds like bullshit.
Well, the thing is, this doesn't mean that the trial ends here, okay? In Idaho, the process, the whole court proceedings, the trial, everything is essentially paused. And then therapy takes place in an attempt to restore Lori to a level where she can effectively participate.
Now, why can't she participate? I don't understand.
I don't know. It depends on that assessment. However, in the state of Idaho, where this case is taking place, the insanity defense is actually not allowed. So what will happen is she will stay in therapy for however long it takes to get her back to competency.
Okay,
so
but this is basically insane. I mean, it's a workaround.
Maybe, but the thing is
But she killed her kids and her ex-wife, or her ex-husband's.
her current husband's
Current
wife.
husband's ex-wife, and
They weren't even split, so it
and
was
killed
his
her
wife.
kids, and then took off to Hawaii. So she's.
Yeah. But here's the thing. In Idaho, it rarely happens. When I watched this video on YouTube where an Idaho prosecutor was being interviewed about what this all means, he even said he has seen one time in his 20 to 25 years of working in the Idaho courts that it ever, a trial just ended because this person was deemed unrehabable, I guess. I mean, that's not a word. But
Unrehabitable, or
yeah.
I don't even know the word.
I don't either, but you guys know what I'm saying. So what the reassurance here is that the bar is very low. In Idaho, it's a very basic, all she needs is a very basic understanding of what her charges are and what is going to happen in court, and I guess so that she can participate with her lawyers. But the bar is super low, so it's going to happen, okay? We don't know when. We just have to wait. We're not sure exactly what's going to happen next, as no date was given for the next court appearance for Lori. But we know that she's currently in a state mental health facility, and we just have to wait for her competency to be restored. I don't know how long that typically takes, or if there is a cap on that, but I am hopeful that with the right medications and whatever, maybe I'm naive in saying this, but I'm hopeful that they'll get it figured out, and she's going to have to face what is going on here.
Right.
So, Chad Daybell's next hearing is set to take place on June 23rd, and that is when the court will likely schedule dates for a jury trial. So, here's what I think is going to happen. This is just my 2 cents. I think that since Alex, her brother, is dead and gone, they're going to try to pin the whole thing on him. There is some cell phone like evidence. You know, his GPS tracked Alex's whereabouts one night after the kids went missing, but before they were found, where he was on Chad Daybell's property in the middle of the night. And then the very next day, Chad was texting his wife, Tammy, saying that he had to bury a coon or something because he caught a coon and had to like bury it in their back property. So anyway, I discuss all of that in the video. So if you go back and you watch that, it'll make a lot more sense. But my thoughts are they're going to try to blame this whole thing on Alex. Hopefully they don't get away with it, because Chad and Lori are completely culpable in the deaths of JJ, Tylee, and Tammy. But we'll see what happens.
So when is it going to trial?
Well, we don't know when it's going to trial. We just know that on June 23rd, they will schedule the trial. So by the 23rd, we should know when that's going to start. And I will be watching every minute of it.
Another episode update coming soon. Have a great weekend. Thanks for listening. I'm going to get dinner. Mama, mystery, out.
Bye.